So there are new ways that attackers or hackers actually target e-commerce stores these days. And by e-commerce stores, I mean stores that are built on Magento, on Drupal, on a WordPress combination with a Zencart or some other shopping checkout plugin, even Shopify Plus, right? Attackers these days are not all that interested in taking down your store, right? There is very little monetary value in it for them to take down your store. They're more interested in stealing your customers' data, names, addresses, credit card numbers, things like that. Things that they can use and reuse and keep using to increase the profitability of attacking your store, okay? So gone are the days where denial of service is a big thing. Yes, we still have to worry about it, but what we're finding these days with our e-commerce customers is that hackers are more likely to try and inject pieces of code into your store, into your online store, to make sure that they can have these constantly open back doors through which they can feed out information back to their servers and profit from that information that they collect, right? So the question is, if you're a developer or an owner of one of these stores, what are you going to do, right? If you don't have a big team, what can you do to protect yourself from these attackers, from being breached by these attackers? So there's a few critical things you can do, and they go up in terms of how much time they take. They go up in terms of how much money they cost, and they also go up in terms of how much value they provide, right? But the first thing is absolutely free. You can do this. It will, if you have any sort of technical experience, or you can ask your developers of your online store to do this, and it'll only take them a couple of hours to put all these things in place. And the first thing, which is free, is called making sure that you've got your HTTP security headers in place and properly configured. Okay? Now, to do this, you simply have to go to scan.cyberchief.ai. It's a free service. Enter the URL of your online store there, and it'll tell you which HTTP security headers you're missing, which ones you already have, and how to implement the missing ones in your server. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's a free service. Go check it out. The link will be in the comments or the description below, but go check it out, and it's really a no-brainer. You must do it. When you've got that done, or when your developers have got that done, the next thing you should look to set up is some sort of constant and consistent vulnerability scanning, right? Presumably your online store is being updated with new features or bug fixes every now and then, and each time new code is pushed onto your servers, that is a chance for new vulnerabilities to be opened up or old vulnerabilities to be reintroduced, right? So what a vulnerability scanning system does is it makes sure that all those vulnerabilities have been accounted for and closed off before you go live with new features or new code on your online shopping store, right? Now, if you're just using a standard Shopify account, you don't really need to worry about that. Shopify does that for you. But if you're using something like Magento or a WordPress integrated with another checkout application or checkout system, then this is a must for you. You must do this. You must set up vulnerability scanning, right? CyberChief, the actual tool, is a vulnerability scanner. Links below or links in the comments section. Check it out, see if it's right for you, right? There are others out there as well. The third step, again, this is probably the most expensive step, and you need to be careful about when you do this to get the most value out of it. But the third step is penetration testing for your e-commerce store, for your Shopify Plus, for your Magento, for your Drupal e-commerce store, right? And this is a labor-intensive exercise. That's why it costs more than the other two tricks that I've told you about earlier. But if your store is doing any material value in terms of orders, then this is a must for you, because you've clearly built up a brand, you've clearly built up a name for yourself, and the last thing you want is for people for you to have to send your customers emails saying, "Sorry, we've been hacked," right? It's not a good look. And while the likes of NutriBullet and Instacart, have had to do that in the past, they're big brands, right? They can get away with some of that damage. The question is, can your store get away with that damage if it is actually hacked, and if you're leaking your customers' data to attackers and hackers, right? The answer to that question probably is no. You'll struggle to recover from something like that. But anyway, you have 3 very solid things that you or your developers can put in place to instantly level up the security, the cybersecurity of your online shopping store. And if you have any questions, or if you're really unsure about how to proceed, reach out to me or my team. We'll be more than happy to take you through some of the options that are available to you, both free options and also paid options, but options which are relevant to you and will hopefully help you set you on the right path, right? One more thing to remember before I sign off, and that is this. The first step is always the hardest, okay? Even though the first step might be free, it is always the hardest to implement. Take the first step, employ your developers. If you have outsourced developers, employ your outsourced developers to take the first step and set your HTTP security headers right, okay? And then once the first step is taken, you'll be in a much better frame of mind to make sure that you're doing the other 2 things that I spoke about as well. I'll see you soon.